What is going on, guys? We are back with another video today, and we are doing a video that we do every single year, which is the most overpowered position switch video. A lot of the, well, not even a lot, but pretty much every position switch is going to be from last Madden, because obviously the game of the NFL hasn't changed. If you couldn't tell, it's going to be the same kind of situation, but there should be a few different players. But mainly, instead of just this being like a boring video where it's the same position player switching to the same position, which could, I mean, I could get the video done in like 2.2 seconds. We're going to be ranking, in my opinion, 10 to 1 the best position switches you can do, and I will give at least a couple of examples for each player. There are a couple of sneaky ones in there based on where they've played in the NFL and where they've played in college. But you know, I'm wasting some trial time here. Maybe give it a like, maybe subscribe if you're new. I don't know why that's a good reason, but we're gonna start with the position of running back, and you're like, oh lord, here he goes. But it's not what you think. It could be what you think if you've been watching the channel. Last year we did this, but you want someone cheesy at tight end because clearly the Chargers clearly don't have enough talent for you, right? These 93 overall, 82. To be fair, the receivers aren't as good as I thought. But I know you're thinking, okay, that's a drop in overall, but 92 speed at tight end. Kyle Pitts, who? The rookie for the Falcons, of course, he's really good. We're not going to forget him. But a decent tight end pick, considering this is a tiny, tiny little running back. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, that was a little weak. Well, that was number 10. But we are going to look at a different running back that actually does go up in overall. Najee is your number 1 running back, obviously. You could use Kalen Ballage as your number 2. McFarland, they got a lot of running backs. Jalen Samuels, 70 overall running back, usable at tight end. He's not a bad choice. Obviously, much better than Pat here. You can see the speed difference and all that. Once again, it was number 10. I had to put 10 on the list because otherwise, what is a top 9 look? What is top 8 player? Like, come on, dude. Let me get this one out here, right? And now for this one, we can actually stay on the Steelers if you want because, you know, you just moved Jalen Samuels to tight end. Pat is like, well, what the hell do I do now? Well, what you can do is move tight ends to fullback. Of course, we know in Madden, fullbacks aren't aplenty. Like, let's look at fullback. You know, a lot of these guys are old as hell. You know, like 28, 27, 30 for some of the best in the game. Alec Ingle is young, but he's still 25. Look at all these ages. You know, the best one that's young is Ben Mason, who's a 69 overall. Instead, you got Pat as a 74 overall. And, you know, maybe that 80 speed isn't looking as bad as he used to. This probably fits a little bit better with a faster guy, though. You can see here, Alberto. For me, if you watch our Rams League last year, the backup tight end didn't matter. We actually traded a high development, number 2 tight end because we just didn't use him. So if you can trade a guy like Alberto, put him at fullback, and now you have yourself an absolute mismatch god. 70 overall, goes up in overall. 88 speed, 91 excel, but for me, I've had some of the best fullbacks in the game, and their blocking logic sucks anyways, but as you can see here, Alberto isn't trash, and ironically enough, we are sticking to the teams that actually make a lot of sense for the next ones. But a guy like Kyle Fuller, of course, 29 years old, he's still obviously usable. If I'm doing a Broncos franchise, I'd probably start him, but I say probably because you see, they do actually have a lot of corners. You can't play a franchise without starting Surtain, and Callahan's way too high of an overall not to start. They have Darby on contract for a couple of years. Fuller could play a mean safety. I know they don't really need safety here, ironically, either. The Broncos, there's like, you know what? DB? Let's get them all. Now, obviously, this is something that happens in real life a lot. An aging corner, probably a little older than Fuller, in fairness, that is good in coverage, moves to safety. Like, I know this doesn't really count, but Obi Melifonwu, I would imagine, would go up because obviously he was a safety. Like, let's see, Malcolm Butler, 79 overall. Once again, another team that probably doesn't need safety that bad. So 79 overall to an 80. So you can see here, a guy like him would be perfect because, he's 31. He's not really going to be that viable at corner because he is on the slower side. Now, this one was probably on the list last year, but I didn't really think about just using pure speed. But, of course, this one is going to be cornerback to running back. Now, this one isn't as viable. However, there are some players in the league that are, maybe not usable at corner. This is probably irrelevant because he was actually really good for us in our Steelers Superstar Series last year. But the Javelin, now, I'm not going to say he's going to go up in overall. He's not. However, we know that speed is kind of lacking at running back. The highest running back is Mostert. And now with Javelin there, he's number 2 already. 58 overall. He obviously drops, but 23 years old with 96 speed, 93 excel, 88 agility. Of course, we're not going to talk about the trucking. Break tackle is low, but he is definitely usable. Break tackle looks bad because of the trucking and stiff arm, but as you can see, 65 ball carrier vision, change of direction right up there with Mostert, 70 spin, 78 juke move, 68 carrying, some decent catching ratings. He could definitely be used as a running back. There's no doubt about it. Maybe just look by ball carrier vision. I wouldn't use Sherman per se, but Patrick Peterson, I don't know why you would want to, but 81 overall, Patrick Peterson, the cornerback. And you can see here, he only drops 2 overalls. Of course, if you're playing as the Vikings, you probably want him at cornerback, but I'm just saying, it is doable, and I don't know how the drafts are, but there might be corners that have, decent juke ability that are young. Maybe you took him best available, and you know what? He's actually kind of fast. Maybe we put him at running back. So now our number 5 is one that is, pretty common. I think people just in general do it, but maybe some people are new to the game, or maybe you came over from Ultimate Team. You can see here, 78, 79 overall. I think 78 Brian O'Neill goes to 79 overall. This isn't massive, but a lot of the times, in our leagues, we always, we move our guys around based on what we need. But Brian O'Neill, being as fast as he is, obviously in Madden, even though he's 6'7", fits guard a little bit better because, if you're running a pitch play, you want a guy out there that's pretty fast. So a guy like Brian O'Neill at guard makes a lot of sense. I think I would start Wyatt Davis, but since he is on the slower side, I'd probably either put him at tackle or center. That strength is low, so I'd probably put Wyatt Davis at center, keep Brian O'Neill at tackle, and then move Garrett Bradbury at guard. Oh, Jesus. Move it at guard, you know what I'm saying, baby. I would move the players around a little bit based on their speed, because, one of the guys is going to have to suck anyways on the O-line, so you might as well have the slowest guy at center. That's usually how it goes. And then for a, what is it called? Kind of an honorable mention. It's not super common in the game. I don't know why EA doesn't do it. Like even a guy like Randall Cobb, who played quarterback in Kentucky a little bit, I would imagine goes very far down. But positions to quarterback, there used to be, what's his damn name? He used to play for the Texans. But yeah, you can see 40 overall for Cobb, which is just so stupid. But, different wide receiver / tight ends that converted. Moving him back at quarterback, Tyree Jackson right now is probably the number 1 guy to move back if you need a quarterback, because he actually is usable. Everyone else kind of has trash throw power. You can see Tyree actually, did he go up in overall? He's about the same. But decent speed, obviously. Super tall, 23 years old. And, of course, a very strong arm with 93 throw power. Usable. Definitely usable. Not really great at tight end. He used to be faster in the game. I don't know why they thought that moving him to tight end, he's just slower all of a sudden. But definitely usable, but just not good enough to make the list. Now, for this one, it's not super viable because, obviously, the speedy guys are kind of the guys you want at linebacker, because those are the biggest mismatches, having a guy that's as fast as a corner at linebacker. But it is usable and it is viable because sometimes, especially in franchise, you can get way better linebackers than you can safeties. So this one, which is I believe our number 4, is linebacker to safeties. You can see Devin White, super fast, built to play almost any position at this rate, is in 87 overall, moving from 85 as a linebacker. Let's see what he is at corner. I mean, even at corner is usable, 80 overall. Obviously, the more, expected move would probably be Isaiah Simmons. Once again, I really would not recommend this unless you're doing a franchise where, once again, there's just way more linebackers every year than there is safeties. But this one, of course, one of the classics, wide receiver to tight end. Normally, people would probably put someone like Mike Evans there, but the new king is in town. DK Metcalf, the ultimate wide receiver to tight end switch. 89 to a 91 overall. 95 speed, 6'3" guy at tight end. How do you beat it? Honestly, how do you beat it? So 91 overall. I would imagine he's not going to be the highest overall jump, but he is going to be the biggest mismatch. So Mike Evans, a team with a lot of wide receivers, in fairness. If I'm using this team, it'd be hard not to start Scotty Miller with that kind of speed, even though I absolutely hate him as a Packers fan. Mike Evans goes up a little bit. Is Larry Fitzgerald a free agent? Oh, God. How could they do this to him? He was so young. Really not. He's old as hell. But of course, Larry Fitzgerald used to be one of those guys that would go up like 10 overalls because he's really good at blocking. Julio Jones, let's take a look. Goes to a 99 overall. Obviously, that is something that will happen quite often for a lot of these guys. He goes from a 73 overall to a 78 overall, and as far as developmental pieces go, I think it's actually a very realistic move for them to make because tight end, you know, Jack Doyle's old. He's just a catching guy. He's not really a mismatch. But obviously Pittman is. You know, Pittman is. And now this one, very, very common practice in franchise, especially for rebuilds. Lots and lots of DT talent. I mean, there's like 5+ really good kind of generational DTs every year. Just like last year, they did it again this year. I wouldn't do it in, you know, a franchise necessarily. But Ed Oliver from DT to right end goes up in 1 overall. The big thing about it is he's got the speed for edge, obviously. He's 287, so he is big, but he's got the speed. He has the agility. And, of course, because he was a DT, he's going to have, on average, better block shedding than most edge guys. Definitely for franchise and even usability. For not franchise, you know what I mean, rebuilds, but also usability. You know, if you have too many DTs, which is going to happen if you're drafting best available in this year's scouting, move the fastest one to edge if you need one. Now, here's one that I always love to do, especially in rebuilds, because sometimes you do have a team that at least starts out with too many safeties. A lot of teams love their 3 safeties, but you can't really use all of them. But that is safety to linebacker. As you can see, Jamal Adams becomes the hardest hitting linebacker. Actually, maybe Rashaan Evans is still the highest hitting, but very close to the highest hitting, right? 95 hit power. The next highest is Justin Houston, who's not even really you know, a linebacker. I mean, well, you know what I mean, a coverage linebacker. Diablo, ironically, he's like, I want to be in the video. I was a safety, now I'm a linebacker. I can't tell what I want to do. But yeah, safety to linebacker. Keanu Neal, he's already following suit. He's already done the video for himself in real life. Of course, safety, playing linebacker. But yeah, it's something I would do for a lot of players, especially if there's no limits in your league. But we are now moving on to the number 1 position, which, if you know anything about Madden, it's been easily decided already, and that is wide receiver to running back. It's just so broken. I mean, the guys are just too OP. You get Henry Ruggs, who's a 78 overall, and he's an 82 overall as a running back. There's obviously guys that are better at it than others, like Jalen Waddle would be one of those guys. Superstar development trait rookie, obviously. We all know his name. 76 overall wide receiver. Moves up to an 84 overall running back. And there's a lot of guys that aren't even that fast that can make that transition. If I could freaking find them. Where's Golden Tate at? Where's that Golden Tate fella at? Like, let's see. Deebo Samuels. It's always, why do we say Samuels? 82 overall. Was it 82 overall? To an 89 overall. I mean, we don't need that many good running backs in the league. Oh, here's Golden Tate. The man. Oh, can I not change him? Oh, I can't change him. Thank you. 81 overall, was it? But you get the point. Wide receiver to running back. Literally every single one of them goes up. I can't think of one of the guys that wouldn't go up. I mean, it's just too easy. You know, 91 overall. So you can make the argument of, well, why would you want the quarterback to running back? Okay, we needed to get to 10. Okay, relax. Of course, one that I actually may do in our Dolphins league, if it's allowed. Once again, teams like the Dolphins that are lacking that running back talent. Lynn Bowden, you can see, where the hell is he? 75 overall. Goes from wide receiver to running back. He was running back, you know, played a little bit of running back in college in his final year. Kentucky loves it. He's not super OP, but that's kind of what, in our online league, we have a lot of limitations. That's kind of what I'm looking for, a guy that you can make the argument isn't super OP for a change. But as you can see, very, very usable. Even has a little bit of trucking. He would automatically become the number 1 usable guy on the team for running back. As, you know, Salvon Ahmed, he's decent, but he's not as good. Technically isn't as good as a catcher. Similar change of direction, just not as good of a juker either. I'd still probably look to you know, draft someone. Obviously, I always call him Ladrian. Jalen Waddle is just too OP at wide receiver not to use. So, you know, that is the video. Let me know what you guys think. If there's any actual position switches, like there's someone that I'm trying to think, like, you know, one of those running back to tight end guys. I could have proved to you guys that not everyone can do it, like Eckler and Jalen Samuels. Derrick Henry goes down to a 59 overall, and he's like perfectly built for, you know, linebacker / tight end. If there's anyone like that, you know, there's some sneaky guy that's playing like tight end, not tight end, like left tackle that used to be quarterback or something. Maybe Jamarcus Russell. Fat joke. Yay, that's great. Let me know in the comment section below, because I actually am looking for them, but I felt like it was better to make the video like this, similar to what I did last year, because everyone's going to be like, oh, well, you could just do wide receiver, running back. Every single one would be in the top 10, right? For change, at least in the overall department. You know, there's another one like Patrick Ricard, technically used to be a DT, goes like to a 71 overall DT, I believe, but there's just no point, right? Just keep him at that. I'm actually kind of curious. We actually put that on the list one of the years, but Patrick Ricard, 71 or 81 overall. Yeah, he's not good at that line. I was kind of curious. But anyways, that is going to be the video. Probably have another video a little bit later today. Probably face of the franchise, perhaps. You guys actually started liking that. It was kind of weird. The video kind of went slow at the start and then started climbing in views. So it seems like there's a little bit more interest this year in face of the franchise, or maybe more interest in a wide receiver career, which obviously that was going to be what I was going to be every day of the week. I didn't care that they added linebacker. Don't give a damn. I wanted wide receiver. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of preseason games on today, so will I not? We'll see. Tomorrow will be a rebuild, and I think I'm aiming for Monday to be, believe it or not, the start of our Raiders franchise. I can't wait. I just can't. I'm not going to. I'm not going to wait. I'm just going to start it, and then once the scouting update comes out, we'll go from there. Probably just remake some of the overalls and all that, and just force win the league the way it's supposed to be. But that's about it. Hopefully the video wasn't too long. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Maybe leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Twitter, Jeromepkr. Second channel, PKR Plays. Twitch.tv/Jeromepkr for streams. I'll probably start streaming Madden 22, like I said, once it actually launches and I have the full game, and I'm not limited to these hours. And that's about it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys come back for next video. But until next video, see